I exercise because I had to do that for my hiking and skydiving and the spiritual.
You did the 3 peaks as well.
Yeah.
You didn't even mention that. This woman is the most athletic woman I've ever come across.
No,
3 peaks.
I'm not an
Yo,
athlete.
it's crazy. It's your boy, Sanaan. We have another fantastic video. This woman has her own personal assistant. You'd be surprised because she's even more proactive than her personal assistant, to be honest. I thought it was easier to contact her directly. Yeah, she's been everywhere. I mean, if you've not seen her before, I'm sorry, you've probably been under a rock. So Sister Salaam, if you want to come in.
Okay.
It's actually fantastic to have you, mashallah. Very busy woman.
Thank you, Sanaan.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay.
So yeah, if you want to just go in, give yourself a little introduction if I've missed anything out.
Yeah, what do I
Because your
look at?
resume
You or
is
the
crazy.
camera or?
Whatever, you can look at me, look at the camera, and just mix it up a little bit.
Okay, so I'm Sahara Fiji. I am a molecular geneticist by training.
Okay.
But now I'm an anti-Islamophobia campaigner and a skydiver.
A skydiver?
Yes.
What? How did I miss that in the intro, man? She skydives. Oh,
I don't know, Sanaan. You should have known. You should have known. Seriously.
How did you get that? I want to go into that. How did you get? Do you get a license or you just?
I am working to get the license, so
Okay.
I'm halfway through it. Insha Allah, I get my license and I can jump off from any plane in any part of this world. That's the aim.
That's crazy. That's crazy, mashallah.
Yeah.
What is your job title and what is it that you do for a living?
Okay, so my job title used to be a molecular geneticist, and that means that I worked in cancer diagnostic lab, analysing the DNA of cancer patients and then prescribe what kind of medication or treatment is best for them, because you study optometry. I'm sure you have studied elements of genetics, and you know that every single individual has a different genetic makeup and you respond differently to certain drugs. So my job is to assess that response to certain drugs and tell you know what, this treatment is best for you and this one is not.
That sounds very, very complicated, mashallah. Okay, but what is it you do now then?
Now I'm a full-time anti-Islamophobia campaigner and a community organiser. So a lot of the work that I do at the moment is against racism, against Islamophobia, and also several campaigns around social justice. So yes, it's a big jump that I took.
Massive transition.
Yeah, so it's totally different. I used to work in a lab and now I'm working with people.
So what is that? Is that a social activist? Would you consider yourself one of those?
Social justice activist.
Social justice activist.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to, for anyone that doesn't actually know, because obviously a job title is what people are looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. That's crazy. Honestly, you're like a little celebrity. Honestly, she has a personal assistant. If I haven't already mentioned this, but yeah.
I don't think I'm a celebrity, Sanaan.
No,
you are, mashallah.
No.
You've got a YouTube channel.
To have people like you on here, that's what my job is.
And you film my brother every Eid, so that's good.
It's because you guys dress so well on Eid, honestly.
You know what? When you filmed him that day, he didn't even put the ghutra well. You know, it was completely
wrong. He told me, no, he just came out of praying, so he was like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm like, no, you look good. Honestly, it was pristine white.
Cool.
So how do you become a molecular geneticist and also a social justice activist?
Okay, so my story is not that straightforward and it wasn't easy at all. I was one of those who were confused about what to do in life and what kind of career that I should take, Sanaan. So, you know, as Muslim, brown people, we are programmed to be dentists, you know, and doctors and all of that. And it is the same with the Arab culture. So I think, you know, I was brought up to be doing something medical, something to be, you know, in the field of medicine. But before molecular genetics, I actually wanted to do medicine. So I didn't study here, by the way. I studied in the Middle East. So I did all my primary, secondary school, and I went and I did first year of university doing chemistry in the Middle East before I came to this country, and then learned the English language in 1 year. Then I did my A-levels again, and then I went and I did a degree in genetics. But my intention was to do medicine.
Okay.
And because this is what really my parents wanted me.
I see.
So I was fulfilling their expectations more of anything else. And also I didn't know that time what I really wanted. It was very difficult for me to get into medicine because I did not get the grades because my English was really poor. because if I
You
learned
cannot
English
tell
in
now.
1
Your
year.
English was better than most people that I know, hands down. Probably better than mine.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's when you talk a lot and interact with people, you learn. But because of my poor English, I couldn't get the grades I wanted in my A levels. So a second option for me was just to do molecular genetics. So that was the path. And also, I went to Cardiff University in 2007, and that year was the year when Sir Martin Evans, who is a geneticist, took a Nobel Prize in genetics in 2007, and Cardiff University was in the top that year. So I thought, maybe that's a sign that this is the thing that I wanted. So yeah, I couldn't go into medicine. I did molecular genetics for 4 years. I did the sandwich course, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love the nitty-gritty science of it, but also it deepened my faith, because one of the things that we had to study, evolution, for example, as part of genetics, how the life started. And I remember there was this
Cambrian
module.
explosion.
Yeah, seriously, like an entire module on how we started from a single cell, and it was a lot of it against my faith, but at the same time, it called me to understand my faith better and reconcile my faith with science. And honestly, like, one of the biggest things I learned through genetics is that, can you imagine that every single creature in this world has a DNA, right? For me, that tells me that the creator is one, and he has his own signature in every single creation. And that's why you've got DNA, and I've got DNA, and so on. And if there was many more gods, you wouldn't see that systemic method of creation. So alhamdulillah, it deepened my faith. I enjoyed it. But if you asked me now, if I knew what I wanted to do, would I do molecular genetics? No.
Why not?
No. This is what I realized, after I did my degree, I did my master's, I worked for 6 years in the NHS, I realized that my passion is people, and my skills is interacting and understanding people and motivate them and make them the best that they can be, and so on. So if I was given the choice of not doing molecular genetics, I would do sociology or anthropology. So sociology is obviously understanding different societies and how they work, or anthropology, which is understanding the complexity of not only the human being, but the language, the culture, and everything associated with it. And that's why I'm still, I am actually thinking to do another degree in anthropology or sociology in the future. So yeah, my story is not straightforward.
This is not straightforward at all.
I've
never had to think so much.
My life is never straightforward, by the way.
I'll be honest with you. Can you talk to us how you got into the route that you're in now, as in like sort of campaigning against Islamophobia and things like that? How did you get into that?
Yeah. So it's my calling, Sanaan. Like, it was very extremely difficult decision, right? Because I spent 4 years doing my degree, year and a half doing my master's.
Exactly.
I worked in the NHS, I have built my professions, I progressed in my career, and that was by itself is very, very challenging, because I had to deal with insidious racism, with Islamophobia in the workplace, because I was a veiled Muslim woman. I was the only veiled Muslim woman staff member.
This is why we need people like you, because unfortunately I've not had many people to represent the Muslim women that we have. And honestly, I don't think it's a better representative than you. You've been through every struggle that you possibly can, and that's why I think it'd be best to get your opinion on how to get into these sort of roles. You can take a lot from Sahar. Honestly, it's crazy, mashallah.
Inshallah, Sanaan. Inshallah, I think one of the things that helped me to get the job that I had in the Heath Hospital, that I had a Muslim woman in a senior position, and she was the only Muslim woman in the genetics department in Heath Hospital. And because she was in a senior position, she managed to, defend me. Even when I did the interview, it wasn't easy to get shortlisted at all. And that was a long story, but I remember that I wasn't shortlisted for anything, and I took my CV to one of my mentors, and she said to me, Sahar, your CV is too Islamic. Like, what do you mean? She said, all your experiences is with the Muslim community, because, you know, I was very, very involved with community work, Islamic relief, the ISOC, education, teaching Arabic, teaching Tajweed, and all of that.
Exactly.
And I listed that, you know, just to show my leadership skills, my communication, and all of that. And she said to me, no, this is too Islamic, you need to dilute it down. I said, okay. So I removed everything to do with Islamic, with Islam and anything to do that says Islamic on my CV. And then she said to me, perhaps also you should take the AL from your surname, Al-Fayfi, because it tells you you're an Arab, right? When your surname. I was like, gosh, do I even have to change my surname for it?
This is crazy.
And indeed I did, and I was shortlisted straight away.
Okay.
And thankfully, and by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the panel there was a Muslim. In the interview panel.
Well,
yes.
That woman, you have to, is a man or woman, whoever it is, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, we really do. And then I got the job. So it wasn't ever straightforward, but alhamdulillah, Allah put people in your path to help you and support you through it. But going back to your question, why did I make this big change?
Because that's a lot of effort to change your CV to everything you work towards. Build yourself up to a career and all of a sudden then transition into something almost completely different, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think it was the pain that I had to go through that made me leave my profession and do something different, because I faced a lot of racism, a lot of discrimination. Patients abused me in the hospital. People were passing by the genetics department abusing me and all of that, and I thought it shouldn't be the case.
Very strong one, mashallah. Honestly, I don't know anyone else that can deal with these things as hard. Even myself, I'd probably be in tears. I think I'm a big, strong man, but if I experienced half the stuff you did, I think it'd be difficult.
Jazakallah khair, Sanaan. But you know, if any strength is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not from me. And I was in tears, you know, I broke down. I'm not strong like that. I wasn't born strong, you know. I think Allah only gives you what you can bear. And I thought I just don't want any women to go through the pain that I'm going through.
I see, okay.
And that's why I left my profession and I became an anti-Islamophobia campaigner, delivering training on equality and diversity to staff members in hospitals and others, raising awareness about Islamophobia, working with different faith and non-faith groups around social justice campaigns, from welcoming refugees, affordable housing, living wage. And you know what, I couldn't be more happy, alhamdulillah. One more thing, I really want to say this. Do not do what your parents expect you to do. Honestly, if you had to take a gap year, then do it. If you're really confused about what to do, then stop everything. Do not just do degree for the sake of it, you know. I don't want to say that I regretted it. No, I didn't regret it, but I know there is something else better for me. And I didn't realize until afterward. And inshallah, nothing is wasted. But honestly, it's not about fulfilling other people's expectations. It's about fulfilling your potential.
Do you need any sort of work experience, and how do you basically go into those fields?
With the molecular genetics, I think what helped me is that I did a sandwich course. Okay. So in the third year, I went on a placement. And I worked for an entire year from 9 till 5 and paid.
Unpaid.
Not getting a
That's
single
what they do
penny.
with all the placements, isn't it? I don't know why they do that. They make you work like a slave, don't they?
Honestly, it was, and it was really hard because, you know, I had to find some money just to get a bus and just go to work. But it helped me a lot because the place where I did my placement is the place where I got my job after graduation. So it was really worth doing. But you know, the job market is very, very competitive already. And if you happen to be Muslim in that market, is far more challenging. So you really need to overperform, and you need to break the ceiling. It's just not easy at all. So sometimes the degree is not enough. You've got to follow it up with a master's. You have to do a placement. You have to do work experience, even if it had to be unpaid, just to be singled out and to be shortlisted. It's just because it's not easy. And also, try and find contacts within that department that you want to go to help you with the process, with the CV and so on. But if you are in this pain, honestly, you're not alone. We all went through it, and if we did, you can do so. Don't be disappointed if you are, if you're looking for a job for a year or 2 years, and for me, it wasn't easy. It was really, really difficult.
Yeah. In terms of the transition that you made,
Yeah.
how did you do that then?
So I think, Sanaan, one of the things that helped me is that when I was doing my degree, I was really involved with so many things.
The CV already said, yeah, exactly. Okay.
My degree was on the side, was something in the bottom,
Okay.
or in my list. So I was really involved with Islamic society, with FOSIS, with community work, with Dar al-Isra, with Scouts, with Islamic Relief, you name it, right?
I see.
And because of that involvement, I developed a lot of skills, from leadership to communication to teamwork, just understanding people, and how they perceive their life and helping them through it. Now I'm using all these skills for my work. A lot of my community organizing work is about having one-to-one with people and understanding their fears, their hopes, their anger. And I like it. I am a people person.
I can tell. I feel very warm around you.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it too hot though?
The heating's after. Yeah, it's getting a bit too hot. Yeah.
That's why I told you to switch off the radiator. Yeah, but alhamdulillah, like I think that's my skill, and that's what helped me, is that the voluntary work that I did. And that's why I advise everyone who's listening to that, if you find any training, any course, do it. I was a trainee before, and now I am a trainer because of this. I have developed, and I came a long way, but that was over the course of 12 years almost. So yeah, don't restrict yourself to your degree, to your family. Don't have a very limited, narrow vision. Think big, believe big, and you can do big.
It's amazing. There's a lot of organisations out there. We're going to give them all a promo. We're not going to charge at all. So ISOC, FOSIS, iLead, all of these, get involved with them, and inshallah you'll be a well.
Oh, MEND too.
MEND, yeah, we have an event.
I'm recruiting volunteers, yeah.
There we go. I'll put all the links in the description so anyone can get involved that way.
Please,
So please get involved. These are things that help you develop character. As you can tell, you've got someone prime example of a developed character. How well does your career fit into your religion?
Is this verse here? قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين, which means that your prayers, your sacrifice, your life, your death is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So it's all about the intention. If you are thinking that you're doing this degree to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to help others, then you will be rewarded for it. We have to practice mindfulness, and I'm saying it, and I must say that I'm not good at it, right? And I'm the first one who needs to understand that, but it's to be mindful that, okay, I took the bus today to meet you, Sanaan, and do this interview because I wanted to empower other young people, including sisters, to be confident, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it. So it's making your living for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever you do. And this is how you align your career with your faith. That's
so beautiful, honestly. For some reason, I'm out of tears.
Oh,
beautiful.
Sanaan.
Honestly, what I'm trying, I thought what I was trying here, to reach out to the youth and inspire you guys to follow these career pathways. There's people that have already been there and done that. And subhanAllah, I've been trumped by Sahara. She's been doing this now, inshallah, for a large portion of her life. And I know how difficult it is, All I'm trying to do is trying to make content to inspire others, because obviously the reason being is that I lost one of my close friends.
Did you?
And yeah, OS, most people know about OS. I lost him. He's a very close friend of mine, as he is like a brother to the others. And some part of me realised, look, at one stage you'll be gone as well, and what are you leaving behind? MashaAllah, he left behind a crazy legacy. And what am I leaving behind? A bit of banter and a few other, likable traits. Probably people don't even like me. But if I'm gone, at least I have something like this that can inspire others as a means of sadaqah jariyah. And that's the mindfulness I attach to it. But what you have is it's a step beyond it. I think a lot of people can learn from what you're doing, which is why I actually wanted to get you. So I really appreciate you come here to speak to the people. Thank you. So what is your work-life balance like?
Oh, Sanaan is.
You have to try and encourage them. I think people are going to be put off because you're such a militant when it comes to this.
I am militant.
So you have to try and make it sound nice.
Oh dear. Oh, it's balance is hard. I tend to overwork. I'm not gonna lie.
You don't look overworked though. That's still you so much energy.
Yeah,
charisma.
because when I see positive people like you.
Oh, don't give me that. Don't give me that. When people see me, they cross the road, man.
No, not true. Honestly, I feel very energetic when I meet people. But yeah, it's challenging to have a life balance. Is so hard. I don't have a social life much, to be honest. Like I don't socialize a lot, and I have very few friends. I know a lot of people, but I do have very, very limited number of friends, and my family takes priority, and then I have my work, and sometimes I work like 12 hours a day, and it's not good. But when it's your calling, and this is something that you wake up for every morning, and you know that you're helping others every day, and there's this hadith by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The best of people are those who bring the most benefits to others, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be one of them, and just for him to accept it. It's very hard, and that's why I'm trying to, I am forced actually just to have certain days completely off and just switch off my phone and don't respond and things like that, and you feel tempted sometimes. But that's why I skydive, by the way.
Okay, there we are. There is some balance.
Yeah.
But that's a bit extreme, Be careful because that sort of stuff, bungee jumping, skydiving, you don't want to lead to a retinal detachment because your retina is a layer, and obviously with that sort of force, you can detach from your eye. That's just my advice to you.
Yeah, okay. I literally want to get out of this earth, right? So it's just when I skydive and I have this 1 to 2 minutes free fall, I feel that I'm freeing myself from all the stress associated with everything beneath me, which is earth, the ground, right? And for me, it's so liberating experience. But yeah, I try to have some breaks every here and then.
That's actually crazy. Some people, I know, they read a book or they go for a coffee. Not Saha. She jumps out of planes and flies down.
I do read books though.
She's trying to get as far away from the earth as possible. It still brings her back down again. What's your most embarrassing moment, if you can tell us, if you don't mind?
Oh, embarrassing moment. Oh, I will never, ever, ever forget it. I was in London running for a TV interview with a friend of mine, and it was during lunchtime in London in the underground, so it was really busy. You know how Londoners' faces are. Yeah,
don't like
show me their face.
They don't. They're like blank faces, man. They will stand on a train like this,
and they just don't see.
And like you could be like, you're right there, mate.
It's like no dead, dead faces or grumpy faces. What happened is that I took the escalator, and my abaya got stuck. Got stuck in the escalator, and it was lunchtime, right? And people were angry already, running for food, and I was stuck. I could not pull out my abaya at all, and people started jumping over my head, and it was just so embarrassing. I really, really didn't know what to do. So what I did, I just waited until I was on the bottom of the escalator, and I saw the red button on the side to stop the entire thing. Oh my God. So I pressed it, and just people were looking. I was like, what do I do? I'm so sorry. What can I do? And I keep pulling it. It didn't. It didn't. And then what happened, I think Eastern European builder, he had his kit with him. Yeah. And he saw me struggling, and he came and he started pulling out my abaya with me. He struggled. Then he took a blade from his kit and he just cut the abaya into 2 halves.
Honestly, this is prime time London, man.
Oh my God.
Millions of people are using that escalator.
Oh my God.
So I can imagine how embarrassing
it was. So awful. More embarrassing that I had to walk with my abaya cut into 2 halves. Sisters, just hold your abayas together like this, yeah?
Or was that a tip?
Yeah, just hold it in the bottom, like in the corner somewhere, Just don't. I'm paranoid now, literally. Yeah.
So if you can let us know whether it's either Brexit or Remain that you vote for.
Oh, of course, Remain. That's no
Why?
question.
Why did you go for Remain then?
It's always better to be part of a bigger entity like the European Union than being an isolated island. And also is better when it comes to human rights. Because if we are leaving the European Union, then we don't have access to the European courts. If you want to appeal and so on. Talking about challenging Islamophobia, when you are an isolated island and a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of the Brexiteers, they do have racist tendencies or anti-immigrants tendencies, and it was showing clearly in the debate. It was quite divisive. Not all of them, but the truth is that's why we had to vote to remain. You know, to protect our human rights, also the future of Britain.
Okay, so you've already
Did you vote, by the way?
What, recently for something? There was something. There was a vote, wasn't there?
You don't know what it was.
I was revising it, so that was my excuse. Was it revision? Something like that. I was doing something, but I was gonna vote.
It was the European elections.
Yeah, I was gonna vote, but I had exam, so I thought I can't be bothered.
Sanaan.
I know. My apologies. My apologies.
Come on.
Okay, we're gonna finish this up now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need 5 top tips for anyone, any Muslimah or Muslim, that is looking to progress in any field or just in general. So,
there's this verse in the Quran that I try to remind myself of it, and it says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, which means those who strive for us, we will help them through it, and God will never waste those who excel in their work. So sometimes we all get through this, that you're really confused about what to do next, and you really don't know what to do, especially if you're a meticulous planner like me. I like to plan things stage by stage, phase by phase, plan A, B till Z. But it's about appreciating that Allah is the best planner, and as long as you strive for Him, okay, Allah will guide you. لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا, which means we will guide you to us, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So thinking about that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses in this verse jahadu, jihad, struggle, strive. So it's not gonna be easy. If you expect anything to be easy in this life, is not. For me, the default is difficulty. In everything is difficult.
Everything's more difficult. But
at the same time, I'm grateful because it shaped my personality. It built my resilience, and I feel that I have overcome so many things, and I'm still struggling. I'm still in pain sometimes, but I use that as an energy. So that's the first step. Strive for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will guide you. And the second tip is that your family comes first. Al-aqrabuna awla bil ma'ruf. Those who are closest to you are the most worthy of your benefits.
Can I just say, I consider some of my friends' family. Does that count?
Sorry?
I consider some of my friends' family, like they've come so close.
Why not?
Yeah.
Al-aqrabuna means those who are closest to you.
Okay.
Whether they're family or not, right? Awla bil ma'ruf. So this is the second tip. The third tip is that making sure that you maintain your mental health, your physical health, and also your spiritual health. So these are the 3 elements, and I find myself sometimes I'm good, alhamdulillah, at my physical health. I jog 3-4 times a week, and I exercise because I had to do that for my hiking. And skydiving, and the spiritual.
You did the 3 peaks as well.
Yeah.
You didn't even mention that. This woman is the most athletic woman I've ever come across.
No,
3 peaks.
I'm not an athlete.
Yo, it's crazy. This is the most athletically difficult challenging, man. Look, 3 peaks. She did that. MashaAllah, I'm not going to go into it. You're thinking about it. Thinking about it gives me blisters, man.
Well, I had to exercise a lot, and to be honest, the challenge was to do it within 24 hours. And I did it within 26 hours, so still I need to do it.
It's not your fault. I think it must be the driver's driving too slow to get to the next peak.
You know what is my next challenge?
What?
I'm going to do the 3 Yorkshire peaks, which is much harder than the 3 national peaks because it's 15 hours continuous hiking.
Yeah.
So
I think sometimes it's the journey that's the most difficult thing.
The journey in between the mountains.
Yeah, on the coach, too stiff, and you don't have a chance to overcome.
Oh no, the smell.
Oh, smell, okay.
The smell killed me.
The smell
because
as well.
I went with a group, right? Because I had to go with a professional hiker who knows the routes. And the journey times is included in the challenge.
Yeah.
So when I had to go to Ben Nevis and then go to Scafell Pike in England, then Snowdon is all included, and sometimes the journey is 5 hours, and you just the smell, because some of them didn't have time to take shower, and I'm like, take baby wipes, just wipe your body. Two more tips. Oh, get yourself out of your comfort zone.
That's me.
The very thing you fear is the very thing you have to do. And the final one, don't ever regret anything that you've done. You know, it's all part of a big plan. Inshallah.
You know the amount of times the phone has rang here, crazy, literally. And then the names that are coming up there, man. The names are coming up there. I don't know how you had time to come and do this, but honestly, thank you so much. The most productive, most outgoing woman that I know, mashallah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You must have inspired a lot of people. And,
I really want to thank you, Sanaan.
No, don't thank you.
Honestly,
what's your social? Do you have any socials? So anyone
do
can
I
get in
have
touch
any
with you?
socials?
And so follow me back on Twitter as well. What's this, man?
Right,
I'm gonna follow back.
You know, I'm not into this, but you can follow my Twitter account at Sahar Al-Faifi, my Facebook page. I've got my website, my Instagram. If you want to see all my skydiving pictures, just follow if you see any benefits, inshallah. But yeah, thank you, Sanaan.
Yeah, so honestly, I appreciate you guys watching, staying right till the end. Let me know what you want to see next. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it to someone else that may be below, and you can inspire them to do great things like Sahar. So thank you very much for coming. I usually just kick the camera. I don't actually kick it, but it looks
do you
like
kick it?
Yeah, I just do this.
Seriously?
And then
Should we do it together?
do you want to kick it as well? Go on, you may as well give it a kick.
No, seriously.
Yeah? Just kick it, yeah, and you can finish
Are
it.
you gonna edit that?
Yeah, it'll just look like you're kicking it instead.
Like this?
You have to get a bit closer to the camera, so like.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. I put like the crack at the end of it.
Do you?
That's right. Come on, you kick it then.
No.
Just kick it.
It's silly.
That'll just okay. Punch it then. Whatever. Do something.
Punch
funny.
it like
You have to go closer. You have to punch the
Do I
camera.
have to?
Come on, just do it.
But
It'll be good. It'll be good.
What,
Just
like
punch
this?
it, kick it,
Like
whatever you want
punch
to
it
do.
like this, like
Yeah.
this.